Hi, I'm Kirk Thatcher, and I designed the characters for Dinosaurs, and these were the drawings that we actually used to sell the show to ABC. So I'm going to go through them real briefly and tell you a little bit about each character and how the character came about. This, obviously, is the father, Earl. He was originally designed to be sort of a Jackie Gleason, blowhard sort of father character, and the personal anecdote I'm going to share is that he was designed to look like my brother. He changed from a Hawaiian shirt to a plaid shirt because he turned out he was going to be a tree pusher for a living, knocking over trees. The only other difference was we changed the jaw and made it a little less pronounced and gave him a little more of a chubby third chin, if you will, to make him a little more friendly, a little more accessible. This is the mom character, Fran. Now, she was designed as an Allosaurus, which is kind of a relative of the T-Rex. Originally, we were thinking how we're going to tell the females and the males apart because they're reptiles, so we gave the mom and the daughter hair. And then when Brian Henson came in on the project, he said, that's going to look bad. So we tried it. We actually made these giant wigs, and he was 100% right. It looked really stupid. So we got rid of the hair and used like frills and horns and things that were evocative of hairstyles but weren't actually hair. The only other thing that I don't know if you can notice on the drawing, but she's wearing toenail polish and little red fingernails on her claws. So another way to kind of tell that she was the female of the species. This is the son, Robbie, who was sort of a non-specific dinosaur type. In the beginning, he was a little more rock and roll punkier than he kind of evolved during the series. You can see he's wearing a leather jacket, and he has these hairs, it wasn't really hair, it was spines that we motorized so they could kind of go backwards and forwards and move according to his mood. It was fun designing Robbie because he was, again, a character that he wasn't really specifically any type of dinosaur that actually ever existed, so we kind of got to create our own. And this is Charlene, the daughter, who was kind of a little chubby. And again, we removed the hair, but you can see here she's sort of wearing a style that was very popular in the late 80s, early 90s when we designed the show. And she was sort of like a valley girl, very materialistic, so she's got a little handbag, her nails are done, she's got jewelry and all that. So again, trying to push the character through the animal itself. And again, when we took the hair off and gave her spines, that helped kind of make her look more like a Triceratops or that species. One of the interesting things about the baby character is that he didn't change that much from the original drawing. I think the tail actually, the biggest difference was the tail went straight out the back instead of was as loose as to curl around to the side. And the other thing was a mechanical issue. His eyes couldn't be that close together. But pretty much those things and a little kind of hair thing on top scale were the only things that changed. He pretty much, everyone loved this drawing, and then the guy who did the sculpt in England, Kevin Boyle, did an amazing job of taking this sketch and making a three-dimensional representation of it, and then the puppeteer Kevin Clash did a great job of just making him a funny yet scary baby. This is the original drawing for Ethel, the mother-in-law, and she was initially designed, as you can see, not as what she looked like in the show, but as a pterodactyl who would hang upside down in the closet, she'd hang upside down in the kitchen, sort of whatever room they wanted her to be in, and you would never see her travel. She would just be hanging upside down or kind of swinging a shot with kind of this jangly jewelry and these big bat wings that would flap up and down, which we thought was very funny. It helped sell the idea in the room to the network. But when we got down to thinking about doing the series, we thought this was going to be really difficult because she can never really travel anywhere, and you can't do much with her. She's sort of a talking head hanging upside down. Not only was it logistically difficult to puppeteer, but creatively it was difficult to work her into stories. So we changed from this initial idea to Ethel that you saw in the series, which was a more typical kind of anthropomorphic dinosaur design like the rest of our characters, sitting in an electric wheelchair. So it's a little bit of an example of how ideas that seem great and were actually doable through the process of developing a show can change from one thing to something completely different. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
Here's something very interesting about dinosaurs. All of the character names are fossil fuel names. You pass all of these character names when you go down the street and fill up your car. Earl Sinclair, Sinclair is a gasoline. BP Richfield, his boss, BP, British Petroleum. Richfield, Atlantic Richfield. Roy Hess, the best friend, Hess Gasoline, where I grew up in New Jersey, Hess Gasoline. Grandma is named Ethel. Ethel is E-T-H-Y-L, and because Bob and I went to London to meet with the Hensons, we thought, what can we give these people but Ethel?
Hi, I'm Brian Henson. I had a wonderful time making Dinosaurs. I hope you can enjoy the show as much as we enjoyed making it. As you're going through the disc, keep an eye out for dinosaur eggs, where you'll find hidden extras about the show and things about the series that you may not know.
This is the original, or the original design, a maquette of the original design of Earl. It changed a bit, but not very much, mostly his face a bit. But this is really the character that I was inside of. Just to give you an idea of kind of where we are, or at least where I was inside of this thing, there was an actual little hole, a little mesh fabric hole here, so that I could see out, but it didn't really help that much because, as you can see, he's looking up. But when the head was straighter, all I could see was down and into his stomach. So most of the time, when I could see was through the mouth, when the mouth was open. So if you can imagine my eyes, if his head were a little straighter, almost like that, my eyes would be about where his jaw is. So my head didn't go all the way to the top. It really only kind of went just to the upper lip, in a sense, which is probably where the top of my head was. My arms were where the arms were, except this was about 3 times or 2 times larger probably than my hands, and longer. The fingers were longer. Also, the width, if you can see, the width of his stance, because he was such a big guy, I had to walk with a saddle between my legs. There was kind of like a saddle that was built into the body, and so I was always straddling that. So my walking was always at this wide stance, you know, which made it kind of difficult to do. But the seat helped a lot for resting. You know, gave me a chance to sit down and just take some of that weight off. So that was a brilliant idea that someone came up with. But yeah, and so then there's his tail. You can kind of get I think he was about 6.5, maybe almost 7 feet tall, and about 4.5 feet around. But yeah, that's, gosh. I'm sweating just thinking about being in there, actually.
One thing you might not know is that the series Dinosaurs originally had a laugh track.
Why do I have to pay for your family?
I just need more money.
Nah, the way I see it, you don't need more money. You need less family.
But I love my family.
We didn't want one, but the studio said it's a situation comedy. It's got to have a laugh track. So we produced the episodes, each of the first 5 episodes, with and without a laugh track. They aired with the laugh track. But after about 5 episodes, we all sat down and said, this doesn't sound right, it doesn't look right, and we dropped the laugh track.